Dusty Picker channel here on YouTube. Thanks for joining us. You may be a witness to the worst project ever, but I'm going to try and do something here. As you can see, there's a duck on the workbench. It's about a foot in length overall, and with that came 4 smaller little baby ducks. Unfortunately, I dropped one and its head fell off, so that's not a great start. So yeah, we've got let's just call it a mommy mallard, for lack of a better term, and 3 babies. They came with, they come with the hangers. I mean, these are certainly, you could picture them certainly in the late 60s and through the 70s hanging on somebody's wall. Which is kind of cool, and however, people don't really do that anymore. So I'm going to try and make just a longer sign out of them with the mom and the babies following behind. But they're very plain. So what I think I'm going to try and do is kind of do something ornamental with or use paint on the mama duck here, mallard, female mallard, and I'm just going to kind of wing it. The male of the breed of this particular family of ducks is the colorful one. The female is less so. Just has some contours in the feathers. Sometimes a little purple down here. Yellowy orange on the beak a little bit, but not so much as a white duck per se or whatever. And maybe we'll add a little black eyeball there of some sort. So I figured I'd set this up because this could go haywire. So let me grab some paint and some ideas, and I'll be right back. All right, coming right back at you. So yeah, the first thing I've done is I've chosen a color. It's a honeycomb color, they call it. Folk art acrylic paint. And I just want to give a little bit of a lighter outline sort of the feathers. It's fairly random, but obviously the feathers move this way. And I'm just going to try to figure out how to kind of make it look like the outline of the feathers, without completely embarrassing ourselves here. So what I'm going to do just some brush strokes like this, just to give an outline. Might not be the best brush to do this, but we're not trying to make a decoy. I'm not trying to be fancy. I just want to dress this thing up to the point where it looks different than the babies. We're not going to paint the babies, and makes the sign look just a little bit better. That's really it. So it's just kind of that sort of a pattern. And we'll see how that ends up looking eventually. Down below we might go with a little bit of a lighter color. So I'll show you me getting started on this. I'm sure it's going to take a while. Temperature check in the shop, for those keeping score, is probably almost 90 degrees, which is barely bearable. So I complain when it's too cold. Well, I'm complaining now because it's too hot. So we'll do some blending here. I might just blend some of this in to give it a little bit more realistic. But I wanted to show you how I'm starting, and then I'll come back as I move along. Alright, so yeah, this is what we're doing, for better or for worse. So I got a lot of that done. So also, sometimes at the back of the wings here, they have a little, so I've got a little bit of an off-white. They have like a little, they can have a little blue spot, little blue streak, or what have you, somewhere back in here. So I'm not exactly sure how that works, but something like that. So I'm just going to blend in a nice, like a purpley blue right into that space, and then smudge it a little bit and see how that looks. So let's mix some paint. Let me turn the fan off. To my dismay, you won't be able to hear me. So like I said, purpley blue. So what am I doing? I've got like a Bahama blue and a violet colored acrylic paint, and I'm combining those two. I think that will give me exactly what I want. Put it on fairly liberally here. And just want to fill this in here. And come back. A couple of friendly flies in the shop today, keeping me company. Don't know if you can hear them. 2 of them driving me bananas. Alright. There you go. It's kind of faded out. Just like that. That's just fine. So let's let that dry a little bit. I might smudge it a little bit. Actually, I'm going to use my finger just to give it some realistic life. You know what I mean? And that works. I come back with a little white, and so you can give a little layer to those particular feathers. But yeah, I'm happy with the color, and let's leave that for now. Peace. Be right back. See ya. Okay, so we're moving right along here. As you might see, I was playing around with some oranges and some yellows to get the beak going. You know, they're never really like a regular duck, all orange and such, so they usually off color a little bit as far as I can tell, and have yellows and oranges in there with, you know, a darker gray or blackish hue like in the middle of the beak. So I'm just going to leave that just the way it is. What I'm doing now is I'm just doing, you know, the feathers, or I guess they're feathers on the head, are more sort of uniform and don't lay out like feathers. I'm tempted to say fur, but it's not, obviously. So that's kind of how I'm putting that on. Just very lightly with a brush, kind of matching. Putting that on here, so it looks more uniform. Comes right down into the beak. Very defined on the neck where it starts and stops, as I've noticed. So that's what we'll do, and we're going to add a black eyeball on here of some sort. Probably use a nail or a screw. Dip it in some black, and pow, put it right there. And see what else. Yeah, the orange down here was, you know, the thought maybe to give the impression that that's, you know, the beginning of the leg coming out of the feathers here and dangling under the water. I don't know, but we'll see. Let's let this dry and then move forward. All right, so let's add an eyeball here while we're moving along. You know, just to reiterate, we're not trying to replicate a duck per se, or something that up close is going to look like a decoy. What we really want to do, what I'm thinking of, is just having it have contrast with the plain 3 little duckies that will be right behind her. So I'm using a screw. I'm using a rounded headed screw, and I'm going to add the eyeball, and I want it to have as much definition as possible. So that's what I use. So it applies plenty of paint. And you get slightly a 3D feel. It takes a while to it will take a, it's not a perfect circle, number one. Number two, it will take a while to dry. However, it gives more of a realistic look if you can pick that up in this this crappy lighting. But so yeah, let me let that sit, let all the paint dry, and then we're definitely going to clear coat this thing because it's a little bit of a slick surface. And then anything else we'll address, and then we'll talk about the little ducks and what to mount it on and what to say if we're going to put words. So, all right, time out. So here's the next thing I've done. Actually, the immediate next thing I've done is I did put a I did spray this with a sealant spray coat, little glossy seal. You can see how that how it shines now. You can see how that eyeball too, when it gives it a little bit of a 3D look rather than just a dot of paint. So I like when I like using the back of a screw or a nail to give it that kind of definition. So anyway, so yeah, I bought a cellophane wrapped at a garage sale, 2 lengths of shelving actually. It was wrapped up. It was $1. So this is it plain, and what I did is I just simply very easily and lightly dusted it with an off-white spray paint, because I want to see the grain coming out through it, but I also don't want bare wood. So that's sort of going to be our background, to which we are going to put the ducks. And the name of this video is probably going to be Ducks in a Row. And that's probably where that saying came from. So, but before I do that, I might do some enhancement to the piece. Maybe have some blues down here to represent water, as they're swimming in water and all that fun stuff. So, anyway, let me get that organized and we'll come back. So this is just a nice blue. I've got it taped off here. We're doing like the beveled edge here in blue. We're not trying to be perfect. As you can see, I'm actually stroking this on rather than dabbing it, which I usually do for some things. But just want to give a hint that there's some water under there. And I'll probably take the tape off and make it uneven under the tape as well. But figured I'd share what we're doing. So very rough. Very rough. Tape off. I'll have the ducks just moving along in a straight line. Like I said, I'm just going to dust in just a little bit more blue like this, so it can be seen between the ducks, maybe under the ducks, but that's all. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to finish this, and then I'm going to glue them on, and then show you what we have left. Voila! All right, so we are all glued up. Just to catch you up on what's going on. So we've got the mama duck and all the 3 ducks in a row, as promised. Kind of added a couple of little puffy clouds on here. And so what I'd like to do next, actually, is I'm going to put the word, as you might see, I got the stencil out now. I'm going to put the word together up here in stencil with this smaller uppercase letters here. So it'll start here. So let me get started on that, and then we'll see how it comes out. All right, folks, so just about done, I would say. Yep, use the stencil, put the word together on there with a period, a one-word sentence, meaning together no matter what. So there we go. So that's the piece. I don't know how I would rate this, but it came out okay as far as I'm concerned. But if you liked it, or you like these videos, subscribe, hit the thumbs up button, make a comment, tell me something you would have done differently. You know, I make these not really to instruct people, just to show what can be made out of things that are laying around or inexpensive, and just recreate, keep them out of the landfills and all that fun stuff. But anyway, thanks for watching them, and we'll see you soon. Peace.